Sarang came to King Hotel for an interview when it was her turn. Her heel broke as she was entering the room, but she walked in with confidence and the director was impressed by her. After the interview, Sarang met her friends, Peng Hua and Da Yu, and told them that she would probably not get the job, and her friends dragged her to a party at the club. The next morning they all passed out and suddenly Sarang received a call from the hotel and found out that she passed the interview. She woke her friends up and they started dancing in joy. Meanwhile, Gu-won made a grand entry in his private jet and went to his office as an intern in disguise, as his dad wanted him to start from the bottom. Everyone treated him badly as they did not recognize him, but when he introduced himself as the chairman's son, everyone was shocked and started welcoming him warmly. That night when Gu-won was having dinner with his dad and stepsister, Hwa-ran, he said he would go back to the UK. His dad was angry and left, and Hwa-ran comes to talk to him. She told him to leave for the UK as he had no ownership of the house or company and that she will provide financial support to him. Gu-won said he did not need her help and walked away. The next morning, Sarang arrived at work and the manager took her to the hotel's gym and asked her to wipe the sweat off the machines. She feels disgusted but continues smiling and does her work well. Meanwhile, Gu-won asked his secretary Sang-shik to get a passport as he wanted him to accompany him to the UK. At the hotel, the manager mistook Sang-shik for the chairman's son and tried to win his favor. A man in the gym is interested in Sarang and tells her colleague to pass a letter to her. The letter contained vulgar comments and a hotel room key. Sarang got angry and saw Gu-won exercising in the same tiger shirt and assumed it was him. She scolded him angrily and made him follow the treadmill before leaving. Gu-won is confused and yells at her, but his stepsister, Hwa-ran, arrives and tells him off. Hwa-ran saw Sarang and decided to test her knowledge. She managed to answer everything and Hwa-ran was impressed by her and transferred her to work in the lobby. The manager was in disbelief. 3 years passed, Sarang was also promoted to a manager and Gu-won graduated from his university. Sarang's friend Da Yu also got married. Gu-won received a letter containing information about his mother and told Sang-shik to immediately return to Korea with him. He had dinner with his dad and stepsister and told his dad he wanted to stay in Korea and work in the hotel. Meanwhile, Sarang is drinking with her friends and they tease her about her boyfriend. Gu-won arrived, but suddenly realized he left his documents inside the room too, so he went up to retrieve them. Sarang is asked to go to the suite room to retrieve a phone, and as she is having a bad stomachache, she uses the toilet. She saw a remote and accidentally pressed the button and the toilet screen became see-through. Suddenly, Gu-won walked in and both of them were shocked to see each other. Gu-won quickly leaves, and Sarang asks him to leave, but says he needs his phone. Sarang hesitantly opened the door and Gu-won said he found her familiar. She tried to leave quickly and Gu-won chased after her and exclaimed that he remembered her now. He said she was the girl from the gym who called him a pervert, and Sarang finally remembered that he was the guy in the tiger t-shirt. Gu-won asked her to apologize for both occasions, and she apologized for being in his suite room but said that she will never apologize for that day. They both left and said it was best to never bump into each other again. Gu-won went to Hwa-ran's office to submit his resume and she asked for the family registry and Gu-won said they are family, it is not necessary, but Hwa-ran responded rules are rules and told him if it is too troublesome he should not work here. He was annoyed but said he would submit them. Sang-shik was waiting outside the office, and the manager bumped into him and thought he was the chairman's son, so she informed him that she would be hosting the inauguration ceremony. Sang-shik asked if she wanted to go dinner with him tonight and she excitedly responded, "Yes, I would love to." Sang-shik was nervous and confused by her enthusiasm. Gu-won came out from Hwa-ran's office and Sang-shik informs him that he has to attend the inauguration ceremony. During the ceremony, the manager invites Gu-won to go up on stage to say a few words. Sarang is shocked that he is the newly appointed head manager and the manager is equally stunned as she thought Sang-shik was Gu-won. After his speech, the manager asked Sarang to welcome Gu-won with a bouquet. Sarang nervously approached the stage hiding her face behind the bouquet. Gu-won moved the bouquet aside to see her face and cheerfully told her we met again. Sarang forces a smile and welcomes him. Later, Sarang went to Guwon's office and Sang-shik informed Guwon that he would be filming a promo shoot with Sarang. Sarang wanted to leave but Guwon stopped her and made things difficult for her. Sarang said she would avoid him in future. He also asked her why she calls him a pervert the previous time. Sarang replied that she received a creepy and disgusting letter with a hotel key card from him. Guwon got angry and said that she was sprouting nonsense and he had never done something like that. She was not even his type. Guwon asked if she saw his face that day and she replied that she did not see his face, but she heard that the man who passed her the letter was wearing a tiger-printed t-shirt. Sarang is embarrassed and guilty when he says that the person is not him and asks him to forgive her and apologized. Sarang's friend, Peng Hua, is an air stewardess and is on flight duty. A passenger tells her to put his luggage for him in the overhead compartment and a colleague row 1 helps her out and said she should be careful and not get hurt. She is thankful for his gesture. Sang-shik went to look for the manager and asked her what she would like to have for dinner. She was annoyed and said was it fun to fool her and pretend to be Guwon? At that moment, Sarang arrives and Sang-shik asks Sarang to attend Guwon's welcome dinner. The chairman and his family are at the venue as well. The chairman made a toast and Sarang was the only one who shouted cheers. Curious, he asked who she was. The chairman asks her to give a speech for everyone and she is rewarded with an expensive box of tuna. Sarang carries the tuna and boards a bus home. She wanted to share with her grandma, but she is busy with her restaurant. Sarang then calls her boyfriend Unam, but he says he will stay in Busan for a few days. Sarang is unhappy as they were supposed to meet tomorrow, but he said that he forgotten and they can meet next week instead. The next moment, the bus jammed brake and the tuna box fell and the tuna head rolled out.
Oh, no!
Sarang was shocked that it was the head. She reached home and Peng Hua was present. They looked at the tuna head and they were scared of it. Thankfully, you know how to slice the fish head and they get to enjoy it. Sarang is sitting in her room and opening a sketchbook that contains a drawing from her past. Her mom saw her drawing and asked her why she drew a hotel. Sarang replied that she wants to work in a hotel someday. Yu arrives at her workplace and her colleagues congratulate her with a bouquet because she has been promoted. Sarang went on a date with her boyfriend, Unam, and he receives a call from his friends and drags Sarang along to meet them. However, he leaves Sarang alone and enjoys his time with his friends. Sarang feels upset and left out. Meanwhile, Guwon is researching information about his mother but finds nothing. As both Guwon and Sarang are feeling down, they go to the same lookout point, but were unaware of each other's presence. The next day, Guwon and Sang-shik wait for Sarang at the airport. They are going to Jeju Island for a video shoot. When Sarang arrives, Guwon is mesmerized by her beauty and stares at her. Upon arrival, they see a luxurious sports car waiting at the airport and Sarang was excited and wanted to board the car but Guwon asks the two of them to take a taxi. When they reached the interview location, Hwa-ran's assistant purposely handed Sarang the wrong script to make things difficult for Guwon. Guwon makes an entrance and everyone is captivated by his dashing appearance. Even Sarang could not take her eyes off him. During the interview, Sarang started asking questions about Guwon's mom and he gets angry and storms off. Hwa-ran is pleased that she managed to embarrass him. Guwon returns and asks Sarang for the interview questions and finds out that all the questions are related to his mom. He throws the place cards into the air and asks Sarang to ask him meaningful questions. She is taken aback but manages to handle the situation by asking him if he likes watching the sunset and they go to watch the sunset together. Later that night, Sarang confronts Guwon and asked him why did he act out during the interview. She continued saying that it might seem like a joke to him, but she could have lost her job because of him. Guwon asked her why does she work so hard when there are many other hotels to work at. She retorted that not everyone has a father like him where he gets everything without working hard and they glared at each other angrily. At that moment, Sang-shik approached them and told them that the video promo shoot was received well by the audience. Guwon then told Sang-shik that the photo shoot scheduled for tomorrow should be wrapped up in an hour and walked away. Guwon sits at the balcony and is holding a watch. This was a gift from his mom when he was younger, so he treasured it very much. Sarang and Gu-won arrives at the photoshoot location and told them that the concept for the photoshoot is smile. The photographer told them to smile widely as they pose. However, Gu-won did not smile at all and the photographer was frustrated and told him to try smiling. Gu-won walks away and Sarang asks him to cooperate and get the job done. The photo shoot begins again and Gu-won decides to smile, but as he does not know how to smile sincerely, the photo turned out to look strange. The photographer said he can edit them to make them perfect. Then they needed to go to the sea to showcase the fresh ingredients they use. They are both hesitant and do not want to go on board together, but have no choice. The photographer asked them to hold the fish and shake it so that it looks alive, but Gu-won ended up throwing the fish into the water and the photographer cut short the shoot. As they were heading back, the boat malfunctioned and the boatman told them that they will have to spend the night at a nearby village. The area was dark and secluded and Gu-won became scared but refused to admit. Sarang laughed at him and when Gu-won saw an old lady wearing white, he got shocked and fainted. When he opens his eyes, he finds himself in a strange place and heard an old lady sharpening her knife. He is extremely scared and shouts for Sarang. He tries to run away but jumps out of a window instead and lands in front of Sarang. Sarang explains that the old lady is the owner of the hotel. Later when they sat down together, the old man asked Gu-won if he wanted a drink, but Sarang interjected and said that he is so frail and probably cannot handle it. Gu-won retorted angrily that he can hold his liquor well and the both of them started drinking aggressively. As soon as they take the first sip, the liquor turns out to be extremely strong, but they wanted to compete with one another and ended up drinking more. The both got drunk and fell asleep at the hotel. The next morning, as she tries to remove her socks, she fell on top of Gu-won, who was sleeping. Gu-won asked her to get up and Sarang was embarrassed. Gu-won asked Sarang to go on a bike ride with him. Sarang initially refuses, but later agrees to ride together. They enjoy the scenery and got closer to one another. Later, when they got back to the office, Gu-won is looking at a photo of Sarang and is mesmerized by her smile. At that moment, Sang-shik entered his office, and his assistant asked him why was he smiling, but luckily he quickly clicks away and landed on a photo of himself. After the assistant left, he continued looking at her photo and realizes that he has a crush on Sarang. Later he wants to pass Sarang some macarons which he bought for her, however he sees her hugging Yunam and his heart breaks and he leaves. Sarang told Yunam that she wants to talk to him at a quieter place, however he asks her to say it here because his friends are waiting for him at a club and he needs to leave. Sarang is upset that in the end he still values her friends over her and wants to break up with him. Upon hearing this, he is shocked and argues with her, but when his phone rings he answers it and tells his friends he is going over soon. Sarang is disappointed and walks away. He chases after her, but she walks away quickly. On the way home, Gu-won cannot believe that he is feeling jealous and throws out the box of macarons he bought for Sarang but got caught by the police for littering and he told Gu-won to pick up the macarons but in the end the police officer had a conversation with him and comforts him. Meanwhile, Sarang is promoted to work in the VIP section of the hotel. The manager is jealous and tells Sarang that she will be kicked out soon from that place. Just then, another manager came to greet Sarang. She is a nice person and guides Sarang properly. She hands Sarang the uniform and she looks astonishing in it and Sarang promises to do her best. Meanwhile, Gu-won is stressed out about Sarang's boyfriend and Sang-shik told him that he should be worrying about how to keep his position in the company. Later, the manager introduces Sarang to Gu-won and he is captivated by her beauty. Gu-won told the manager that she needs to pay special attention to Sarang and teach her about manners. Sarang is annoyed but politely told him that she will do her best. Then she was introduced to the other staff members, and they are not as kind to her as compared to the manager. Later, Hwa-ran was visiting the different departments including the departmental store and the kitchen. She saw a small stain on the uniform of the kitchen chef and fired him. On the other hand, Gu-won is preoccupied with thinking about Sarang and he messages her but she does not reply. The next day he confronts her and asks her why did she not reply to him. Sarang says that she does not have his number. He passes her his business card and asks her to save his number. Guwon then invited Sarung for dinner, but Sarung told him it will be awkward for the two of them to have dinner together and declined. Frustrated, he stormed off. Sang-shik went to Guwon's office and asked him to select a photo from the Jeju Island photo shoot, but Guwon is not paying any attention to him. He then tells Sang-shik that he wants to have dinner with Sarung this evening no matter what, and Sang-shik asked him for the agenda of the dinner, and he told Sang-shik that it is a welcome dinner for Sarung and said to book the Japanese restaurant at the hotel. Peng-hwa is making coffee, and the pilot who is her ex-husband arrives and starts flirting with her inappropriately. Rowan enters, and the pilot leaves. Rowan asks Peng-hwa out for dinner. Later, that night they went out for dinner and Peng-hwa mentioned that she may not be able to stay in the airlines for much longer as she will not get promoted, and asked Rowan to find another senior who can support him. However, Rowan confessed to Peng-hwa and she is shocked. Guwon arrives for the welcome dinner and is excited to dine with Sarung, however when he steps inside he notices the entire sitting there and quickly steps out. He asked Sang-shik why is everyone there? And Sang-shik said he did as he was told to put together a dinner to welcome Sarung and pushes him inside. When he realizes that Sarung does not like sashimi, he asks Sang-shik to go to the next door restaurant and order steak for her instead. Everyone notices the special treatment and Sarung feels awkward. After the meal, Sarung confronts Guwon and asks if he was purposely trying to make things difficult for her. He told her he did it for her, but she told him that she rather he treat her as invisible, and stormed off. Upon reaching home, her friends prepared a surprise for her birthday party, and the three of them have a great time celebrating. The next day, Sang-shik informs Guwon that it is Sarung's birthday, and he had prepared hotel vouchers as part of the staff welfare. Hwa-ran was inside his office, and asked him to throw out that pocket watch from his mother and warn him not to go behind her back and do anything. Later, Yunam arrives at her office and gives her a bouquet, but she rejects him and told him that they have already broken up. Sarung went to the lookout point and started crying. Guwon also happened to be there and sheltered her with an umbrella. Sarung walks away but she slips, and thankfully Guwon catches her. Sarung was embarrassed and wanted to leave, but Guwon offered to drop her home. On the way home, Sarung fell asleep in the car and Guwon turned on the heater and took out a blanket to cover her. When they reached the destination, he gave her a gift and told her to change into it and that they should have a meal since it was her birthday. Sarung is puzzled but goes to put on the new set of clothes, and it turns out to be a matching set with Guwon. Sarung wanted to change out of it as she was afraid that people would mistake them for a couple, but Guwon said that nobody would think that way. A staff member takes their photo and mistakes them for a couple, but Sarung tells her that they are not a couple and she apologizes. Guwon continued to say that it was the first time he bought clothes for someone else, and she smiled and thanked him, but he said that he didn't need her to be pretentious, and she said she was truly thankful for him. He ordered a whole table of food as he is unsure what she liked. Sarung told him that she would pay for the meal. When she went to pay the bill, she realized that the meal was extremely expensive and was hesitant to pay, but Guwon snatched her card away and gave his card instead. He dropped her at her house and even handed her a cake. He said that he had specially asked the chef of King Hotel to make the cake for her this evening, and she told him that she felt bad as the chef probably had to work overtime today because of her. She thanked him for the evening and left. Suddenly, Yunam showed up and said that he knew something was fishy when she broke up with him. Guwon intervenes and asks him who he is. Yunam said that he was Sarung's boyfriend, but she retorted and said that he is her ex-boyfriend. He asked Guwon who is he, and Sarung told him to mind his own business. As Yunam does not leave, Sarung calls the police and snatches her phone away to stop her. He asks Sarung to come back to him, but Sarung tells him to never come back again. When Yunam wants to follow her, Guwon grabs his hand and told him to leave. Sarung went home and opens the cake, and saw a happy birthday text from Guwon. He suddenly calls her and told her that if such a situation happens again, she should call him instead and wishes her happy birthday. Sarung started to see him differently and Guwon was feeling happy about the night. The next day, Peng-hwa and her team were in a meeting and the manager scolded them as they have the lowest sales record. She told Peng-hwa that she had to grovel and beg them to purchase the products, otherwise the whole team will go down together. Peng Hua arrives home and notices Sarung's branded clothes and asks who gave them to her. They said that she should show appreciation and give him a gift back, and they started introducing the products at their store. They both pestered her and she ran away and locked herself in her room. After that, she looks at the clothes and smiles. The next morning, Guwan and Hua Ran attended a meeting for a special event where hotel employees visit different places and request for local produce. Guwan said that his team is too competent to be doing such stuff and told Hua Ran to look for other people. He stares at the Polaroid photo from the previous night, and when Sang-shik enters, he quickly hides the photo. Sang-shik came in to talk to him about the event and told him that he should give in and comply to his sister's request if he wanted to become the CEO. At that moment, Sang-shik saw the photo of Guwan and Sarung and is shocked. Sang-shik picks it up and runs off, and Guwan chases him and told him to return him the photo. Sang-shik starts teasing him about the couple outfit and is chased out. Sarung messaged Guwan to ask him if he was free after work, and after he replied to her message, she stopped replying. He is anxious and kept on checking his phone the entire day until later that evening he went to look for Sarung and asked her why she did not reply to his text. She said that she is not allowed to use her phone while working, and they agreed to meet after work. They went for dinner at a simple teppanyaki restaurant where they had to wait in line. Guwan was impatient and Sarung told him that they could leave, but Guwan said that he would wait. When they finally got a seat and started eating, Guwan said that the food was delicious and enjoyed the dinner even though it was completely different from his usual style. The next day, Hua Ran insists that Guwan sends his employees to take part in the event. In the end, he had no choice but to comply, as the employees will get paid extra for the event. The manager announces the news and they drew lots to decide on the location. Sarung needs to head to Mount Yeri, and Guwan got worried for her. Sarung goes up to the mountain to search for the farmer, and Guwan called her as the weather forecast was bad. Sarung slips and falls and is injured. When she woke up, she saw a light from above which turned out to be a helicopter with Guwan inside. As Sarung did not answer his calls, Guwan stormed in the meeting room and told Hua Ran that he needed a helicopter as there was an emergency. Hua Ran told him to follow the formal procedure and he bows to her and begs her for it, but she told him to wait till her meeting is over and that it did not make monetary sense to use a helicopter to search for a mere employee. Guwan gets angry and went ahead to call the helicopter without her approval and said that he will take full responsibility. Sang-shik said that he will go on his behalf, but he insists on going. Sang-shik had no choice but to let him go. Despite being scared, Guwan leaps down and hugs Sarung and assures her that it will be okay. The helicopter left due to the bad weather and they had to spend the night there. Luckily, an old man arrives and helps them down to the village. Despite their efforts, the old man told them that he will only work with First Royal Hotel and told them to leave. Sarung handed him a ginseng plant that she found and he told her to keep it for herself as it is very rare to find ginseng, and carefully packs it for her. Sang-shik arrived to pick them up and went to the rest stop to buy snacks. Suddenly, Sang-shik has an upset stomach and Guwan told him to use the corporate card and leaves him behind. Sarung arrives at her grandmother's restaurant and her grandmother immediately asks her to help out. Guwan was caught by her grandmother for peeking at Sarung through the windows and told him to cut the onions as punishment. When Sarung finds out, she told her grandmother that she should not have done that. She took Guwan with her to buy ingredients and they enjoyed themselves at the market. The next day, it was Guwan's friend's birthday and she rushed over to hug him when she saw Guwan. Sarung feels jealous and drinks with her friends. They ordered a whole lot of food and started dancing. Suddenly, Guwan arrived and everyone was shocked at his presence. Her friends did not know that he was the chairman's son and thought he was just Sarung's fellow colleague and started gossiping about Sarung's boss, which was Guwan himself. Sarung started panicking and tried to ask them to keep quiet, but her friends continued going on. She tried to explain herself, but they continued insulting him. Guwan just continued drinking and did not say anything. When asked to introduce themselves, he pretended to be a manager and they were impressed. Peng Hua asked Guwan why did he come to Sarung's house, and Dayu teased them and said that it must be because Guwan cannot stop thinking about her. Sarang asks them to eat up and leave quickly, but because Peng Hua and Sarang rents the house together, they jokingly say that they cannot leave. Da Yu saw a package and asked Guan about it, and he said it was medicine that he brought for Sarang as he noticed that she was unwell at work. Her friends approve of Guan, and later on, he requests to talk to Sarang alone. When they were left alone, Guan asks Sarang if she really thought badly of him as per what her friends said. Sarang tries to brush it away and says that her friends are joking. He said that he came to pass her medicine as she looked unwell, and Sarang told him that he should have stayed at his girlfriend's birthday party instead of coming. Guwon told her that the girl was not his girlfriend, and she yelled at him and asked why did he hug her if she was not his girlfriend. Sarang's reaction made Guwon laugh, and he teased her and asked if she is feeling jealous. Sarang denied it, and Guwon said that he will not hug anyone else except her in future. Suddenly the both of them were quiet and stared intently at each other, and Guwon smiled at her. Sarang sends Guwon off and he asks her on a date. Sarang told Guwon it was too late, and Guwon asked her what about tomorrow morning. But she said that they have work in the morning and will find another day instead. At that moment, a scooter almost collides with Sarang, but Guwon pulls her in, and Sarang told him to leave. Guwon wanted to walk a few more rounds with her, but she insisted that it was late and he should leave, but he said they should walk one more round and grabbed her hand. The next day, Hwaran hands Sarang the script for the press conference, which wrote that Hwaran was the one who saved her and there was no mention of Guwon. She is shocked, but do as she is told. Later, when Guwon hears about the conference, he rushes there. Sarang said everything in the script, but also mentioned Guwon's name, and he is happy about it. Later, the chairman praised Hwaran for bringing recognition to the hotel after the press conference, and told them that the Arab prince is coming, so they should bring him to stay at their hotel instead. Guwon takes on the tasks. Sarang returns to work, but they are unhappy that she left and they had to do her share of work and told her to clean up by herself. Guwon asks her for coffee, but she told him that she is extremely busy, and he offers to help. He does not know how to spread the tablecloth properly, and Sarang teaches him. He is happy that he manages to get closer to her. When the chairman had lunch with his competitors, his friend boasted that the Arab prince is staying at his hotel, but suddenly the chairman said that the Arab prince changed his mind and is staying at King Hotel instead, and praised his son and told Sarang to welcome him at the lobby. At home, the chairman praised Guwon, and Hwaran was surprised that Guwon managed to achieve this. Guwon called the Arab prince and told him that he will provide him with the best treatment and adhere to all his requests if he stays at King Hotel. Sang-shik advised him against signing the contract as it will make him seem like the prince's slave, and in the end Sang-shik will have to clean up the mess. However, Guwon went ahead to sign it. The next day, the prince arrives, and when he steps out of the car, he tells Guwon to smile. Sarang welcomes him warmly, and even prepares a bracelet for him. He is delighted and asks her to put on the bracelet for him. Guwon is jealous and steps in to put on the bracelet for the prince instead. He even invites Sarang for dinner, and her colleagues are unhappy about it. Guwon came to eat together with them as he did not like the idea of the two of them dining alone. The next day, the prince invites Sarang to visit a historical temple, and they went together with Guwon. The prince sees a traditional wedding event and told Sarang he wants to have the same experience, but she is shocked when she sees that the groom is Guwon and not the prince. This is because when the prince asks Guwon if his outfit is nice, and Guwon passes him a white garment and told him that the most honored person tends to wear that and insists on wearing it. Guwon and Sarang are getting married in the traditional ceremony while the prince is sweeping the area. When he realized he was deceived, he was angry with Guwon. They started fighting childishly. Later, Guwon asked Sarang why did she agree to this traditional wedding, and she told him that she was working for the hotel and could not let the hotel face a loss. Guwon told her he did not like the idea of her agreeing to things like that, and Sarang asked if he was feeling jealous. Guwon told her that he did not like to see her with anyone else, and that the prince is a Casanova, so she should stay away from him. Sarang continued and praised him for doing a good job today, and he said that he would change from now on as he wanted to protect something. Later, the prince arrives angry and starts arguing with Guwon again. They mocked each other, and Sarang told them to stop arguing. Guwon told the prince to keep a distance of 100 m from Sarang, and the prince said that according to the contract, He is the one who gives orders and ordered his men to take Guwon away. Later, the prince asked Sarung to take a walk and told her that she should not do such a difficult job and instead, he will give a hotel to Sarung. Sarung told him that she loves her job very much and the prince is impressed by her and wants to hold a party the next day. That night, Guwon told Sarung that she can stay at the suite room and told her to rest comfortably and she can order food if she is hungry. Just when he was leaving, Sarung called out to him. They went to the convenience store by the river to enjoy cup noodles. They had a good time together. Meanwhile, her friend Da Yu comes home with her daughter and the daughter requests her father to play with her, but he rejects her. When Da Yu suggests that they go out for dinner together, the husband told her to cook as he is bored of eating out. Da Yu does all the cooking and housework while her husband relaxes and watches the television. The daughter then went on to say to her father that he should at least help out with the housework and she will never want to marry a lazy bum like him. The next morning, Guwon knocks on Sarung's door and asks if she wants her breakfast. She told him that she wishes to sleep more and went back in but later receives another knock from Guwon and he came to tell her that he extended her checkout timing to 3 p.m. so she can sleep in. However, suddenly the manager was approaching and Sarung pulled Guwon into the room and told him to keep quiet. Guwon quickly removes his coat and told the manager that if he needs anything, he will call for her. Guwon asked Sarung why she needed to hide but she told him that she did not want to give off the wrong impression. He told her to head back to sleep, carried her, and put her on the bed. Later at the prince's party, he makes Guwon a waiter and Sarung is shocked when she arrives. The prince proposes to Sarung and gives her a big diamond ring but Sarung rejected him politely and he told her that he will bring a more expensive ring the next time. Guwon is relieved to hear this and they ate together. Meanwhile, Peng managed to hit her sales target this time which makes her likely to receive the promotion. She is celebrating with her coworkers. When the manager arrives, she makes an important announcement for the promotion. However, instead of Peng Hua another fellow coworker, Mina receives the promotion instead. Everyone is shocked and Peng Hua is discouraged and in disbelief and Rowan feels sad for her. When they were celebrating at the karaoke, Mina was sarcastic to Peng Hua and even said that she is sorry for getting promoted first and continued triggering Peng Hua and told her not to spoil the mood. Peng Hua felt upset and left. Rowan followed after her. Rowan put his coat over her and asked her if she is okay. Peng Hua said she is not okay and felt embarrassed for getting her hopes high. Rowan comforted her and told her that she is amazing and is the best flight attendant. He held her hand and took her for a walk. The next morning, Guwon, Sarung and Sang Shik took the same elevator. Guwon tries to hold Sarung's hand but keep failing because of Sang Shik so he sent him out of the elevator. He holds Sarung's hand and places it inside his coat. Sarung feels happy and they look at each other affectionately. Later, the chairman is having lunch with Guwon and Hwaran, and Guwon said that he wants to take charge of the hotel. The chairman agreed but said that he will formally decide again after the 100th anniversary. Meanwhile, Hwaran is with her assistant and he told her that she should not take Guwon lightly as he may be more capable than you think and he could take everything from her. But Hwaran told her that King Group was hers from the start and that nobody will be able to take it from her and told the assistant to invite all her guests to the 100th anniversary event. The assistant was shocked at her request but she was only doing that because she had something up her sleeve. Later, Guwon visits Sarung's grandmother restaurant. She is changing a light bulb and slips, but thankfully Guwon catches her in time. He takes her to the hospital, but she nags at him for bringing her to the hospital and wasting his money. Guwon told her that her knees are injured and that she should get them treated but she refused and said that she will need to take care of her restaurant. Guwon told her to not worry about her restaurant and that he will take care of it. The grandmother told Guwon to be brave and confess to Sarung if he is interested in her. When Sarung learns about her grandmother's condition, she rushes to the hospital and she is in tears as she is afraid that something will happen to her grandmother. Her grandmother assures her and tells her that she will never leave her. Guwon and Sarung went to her grandmother's restaurant to fix the lights, but a short circuit happened. When they were sitting in the room together, Guwon suddenly confesses his feelings and asks Sarung if she will accept him. She did not say anything but planted a kiss on his lips. When they returned home, they bumped into Peng Hua and Dayu, so the four of them sat down and have drinks together. Dayu shared that the store hit their target, but the company did not take them on the incentive trips as promised, and Peng Hua did not get her promotion. This made Gu Wan feel bad, and he organizes a trip for Sarang and her friends. During the trip, Gu Wan takes care of Sarang and their bond grows closer and even gives up his business class seat to Sang Shik so that he can sit with Sarang. They arrive in Thailand and reach their accommodation. Everyone was delighted as the place was beautiful and takes pictures excitedly by the poolside. Sang Shik shows them to their rooms and leads Gu Wan to his room, which was decorated romantically. Gu Wan asked Sang Shik why did he only book 2 rooms. Sang Shik proceeded to explain that one room is for the girls and the other is for them. Gu Wan asked Sang Shik where will he sleep, and Sang Shik told him that he will sleep on the bed with Gu Wan. Gu Wan laughed and told him to book 5 rooms for each of them as he will not sleep with him. Sang Shik complies with his request, but when they return to the poolside everyone was having so much fun, so Gu Wan told him that they will stay. Suddenly, Gu Wan pushes Sang Shik into the pool and Dayu pushes Gu Wan into the pool. The 5 of them were playing in the pool and having a lot of fun. When they were resting, Gu Wan messages Sarang and told her that he wants to spend alone time with her. Meanwhile, Sang Shik brings matching t-shirts for everyone to wear. Gu Wan does not want to wear the t-shirt, but the rest of them were excited about it, so Gu Wan also ends up wearing it. Later they went to a lively night market and Sarang went to get ice cream with Gu Wan while the rest of them bought other food. After enjoying a whole table of food and watching a live concert, Sarang and Gu Wan stand behind Sang Shik and held hands. Later, Hua Ran was surprised when she heard that Gu Wan took the staff and sent them on an incentive trip and was unhappy that she was not informed. Sarang and Gu Wan are unable to sleep, so they texted each other and met outside. After much difficulties, they managed to sneak out and meet one another. Sarang nearly falls, but luckily, Gu Wan catches her in time. They sit by the pool and chatted, and Sarang said she was happy to be on this trip with her friends as she has never traveled abroad before. Gu Wan assures her that there will be many opportunities from now on. They are both happy in each other's company, and Gu Wan carries Sarang into the pool and they started kissing passionately. The next morning, Sang Shik organized a full day of activities, and while they were on the cruise, they bumped into Rowan. They asked him to stay the night since he was already here. The next morning when Rowan is leaving for his flight, he finds that Peng Hua prepared breakfast and left a note for him, which made him happy. The next day, Gu Wan and Sarang sneak away to spend time alone, and he shares his past with Sarang. He told Sarang that his mom left him when he was young, and even though he felt sad, everyone around him kept smiling at him. This is why he disliked fake smiles until Sarang came along. Sarang tells him they can look for his mom together, and she gives him a hug and they both thank each other for coming into each other's lives. The next morning, everyone is upset that the trip is coming to an end. Gu Wan booked business class tickets for everyone to make them happy, and Sarang tells Gu Wan that she enjoyed the try and held his hand the entire plane ride. They return to work and Sarang is having a meeting with her team. The senior announces that the 100th anniversary event is upcoming, so they need to prepare for it sufficiently. Sarang bought gifts for all of her colleagues, and they were happy upon receiving their gifts. Later, Sang Shik showed Gu Wan the VIP list for the event and Gu Wan said that he would deal with the invitations. He meets with Hua Ran and she said that she had arranged the guest list for the event as well as the VIP speech. Gu Wan told her that he is the one in charge, so he will make the decisions. She told him that the 100th anniversary is not a joke and he should accept her help and invite the high-ranking officials. Gu Wan retorted that he does not need these politicians, but instead, he wanted to invite the employees who had been working for the hotel for many years. They started arguing and said that status and bloodlines matter. Gu Wan went to taste the dishes for the event and praises the chef in charge for the delicious food. Gu Wan came to speak to the doorman but was told that he was waiting for an important guest and would be with him shortly. Gu Wan asks him who was she. Doorman replies that she used to come with her husband to visit the restaurant, but now her husband has passed away and she is coming alone, so he wants to wait for her and hopefully she will feel less lonely. Upon hearing this, Gu Wan is in awe of the service staff at the hotel. After work, Sarang is waiting for Gu-won at the bus stop, and when he arrives, he hugs her from behind. She thought it was a pervert and hits him, but upon realizing it is Gu-won, she feels guilty and apologizes. He told her he was still feeling injured, so Sarang kissed him. Out of a sudden, she sees her team members and told him to hide, and they boarded a bus in an attempt to hide. However, they realized that it was the hotel's shuttle bus, and Sarang pretended that she was giving him a briefing and they went off. Later they went to have coffee, and she asked him if he asked the doorman about his mom, since he worked there for a long time. Gu-won told her that since she left him, there was no point in asking. Sarang visits the doorman personally and asks him about it. He then tells her to look for a lady who might have more information, but was sent away. Later that night, Gu-won saw his dad in the living room and asks him if he have any dreams for the hotel, and his dad replies that he just wants everybody who visits King Hotel to be happy. On the day of the anniversary event, instead of asking the politician to give the speech as per Hwa Ran's request, he invites the doorman instead. The politician got angry and left the venue, however Sarang commended Gu-won for his efforts. Later that night, the chairman thinks about his wife, who once said we will build a hotel where everyone who visits will be happy. At that moment, Hwa Ran comes in and tells her dad that because of Gu-won, the politician is angry and it will make things difficult for them. Meanwhile, Sarang told Gu-won to come over to her place and prepares dishes that he likes. He is touched by her actions, and they kissed passionately, but suddenly the rest of them came home and were shocked by what was going on. They questioned the couple and they said that they have been dating for a while now, and Gu-won also reveals that he is the chairman's son, and everyone was shocked. Everyone praises Gu-won for holding a successful event, but Hwa Ran was unhappy because she said that working with politicians and cutting costs are more important. However, Gu-won disagrees with her opinion and the two started arguing. The chairman asks both to prepare a presentation for the future of King Hotel and he will decide. The next day, the politician came to meet Hwa Ran, and when Sarang serves him, he scolds her and tells Hwa Ran to get rid of her. Hwa Ran fires Sarang, and at that moment, Gu-won arrives and scolded the politician and told them that he will not fire Sarang as she did nothing wrong. Hwa Ran suspects that there is something ongoing between the both of them as Gu-won is protective of Sarang. Gu-won and Sarang goes home together, but while shielding her from the rain, Gu-won's clothes got wet and he went to Sarang's home to change. Gu-won takes of his clothes and moved closer to Sarang and told her that they should not waste this moment and starts kissing her. Meanwhile, Hwa Ran meets with Sang-shik and asks him to work for her. Hwa Ran receives a call from her son Ji-hoo who came to Korea to see his mom, however, Hwa Ran gets angry at him and asks him to stop causing trouble for her, and this made Ji-hoo sad. Suddenly, Sarang was asked to serve as part of the dream team and wore a different costume. She has to serve Gu-won's family, and Yuri and her father is also present. This meeting was to discuss Yuri's and Gu-won's wedding, and this shocks Sarang. Sarang drops the plate in surprise, and starts picking it up, but Gu-won grabs her hand and tells her that it is dangerous. Sarang's colleague arrives and asks her to leave and she will take care of it. Sarang is heartbroken, but resumes her work. Meanwhile the others are continuing the conversation, but Gu-won announces that he has already made it clear that he have no feelings for Yuri and is in love with someone else. Gu-won's father is furious and ignores him and tells that they are here to discuss his marriage to Yuri. Gu-won explodes in anger and left the room. Meanwhile, Sarang is busy with her work and Gu-won calls her continuously, but her phone is in her locker. Later when they meet, Gu-won apologizes for what happened and Sarang told him that she was not angry. Gu-won reassures her, but Sarang brushes it off and tells him that they will talk about it next time. Meanwhile, Gu-won's father advises him to let go of the one you love before she leaves you, but Gu-won says that he loves her with all her heart and will not leave her. Sarang does not answer his call, and the next day, Gu-won looks for her to ask her, but she explains that she fell asleep. At that moment Yuri arrives, and upon seeing her, Sarang leaves. She talks to Gu-won about marriage, but Gu-won told her that she should find someone else because he already loves someone else, and walks away. Gu-won visits Sarang's favorite restaurant and Sarang also arrives and sit next to him. Gu-won told her not to worry about what his dad said, and she replies that she is okay and she will never leave him, because those things were said by his dad and they do not matter. Gu-won feels relieved and they have a meal together. It was time to present their individual plan to the chairman, and Hua Ran said that they should cut cost and hire less full-time workers to make the hotel more profitable. When it was Gu Wan's turn, he said that the hotel should merge with overseas hotels and establish their name worldwide. The chairman is pleased and appoints Gu Wan as the hotel president. Later, the chairman requests that Sarung work at his house to take care of Jiho, as he knows that Jiho is sad and lonely. She agrees and plays with Jiho and even tutors him. Jiho is happy for her presence. As Sarung is taking snacks to Jiho's room, Gu Wan saw her and pulled her into his room. She explained the situation to him and started looking around Gu Wan's room. She teases Gu Wan about the photo, and as they were playing around, they both fall on the bed and start kissing. Just then, Jiho enters the room to look for Sarung and Gu Wan hides. After dropping Sarung home, Gu Wan spends time with Jiho. Jiho tells Gu Wan that he is waiting for his mom, but when Hua Ran came back, she scolds Jiho and asked him why he did not return to the US yet. Gu Wan consoles Jiho, and the next day, Sarung and Gu Wan took Jiho for a picnic. Later, Gu Wan visits Sarung's house, and they were intimate with each other, and someone takes a photo from the window. The assistant informs the chairman of Gu Wan's love scandal, and the chairman is shocked and told him to stop the news. On the other hand, Hua Ran told the news channel that she will pay double to make the news go viral. As the news spreads throughout the hotel, everyone is talking about it. Sarung's team sees the photo and comment that the girl in the photo looks like Sarung. She is taken aback and tries to brush it off. She sneaks away, but her colleagues ask where is she going, and Sarung said that she was not feeling well and went off to the restroom. Meanwhile, Gu Wan also hears about the news and is worried for Sarung. Gu Wan and Sarung meets, and Gu Wan hugs her and asks if she saw the news and told her that he was worried about her. Sarung says that they have nothing to be afraid of as they did not do anything wrong, and Gu Wan told her to tell him if she needed anything and he will come running. As they both embrace each other, Sang Shik enters. Sang Shik told Gu Wan that they need to handle this matter carefully, and Gu Wan says no matter what happens, Sarung's identity should not be revealed. Sang Shik told Gu Wan that he thinks that Hua Ran planned all of this, and told him about the offer that Hua Ran presented to him to work for her. Gu Wan thanks Sang Shik for staying loyal to him. When Sarung went to discuss the issue with her friends, another article is published revealing Sarung's face. The next day at work, the manager saw Sarung in the lift and asks her how did she manage to impress Gu Wan not know that Gu Wan was standing at the back. He replies and told the manager that he was the one who liked Sarung first and took her hand and left the elevator. Meanwhile, the chairman asks his assistant why is the news still going and told the chairman that he suspects that Hua Ran is the one spreading the news. The chairman asks Hua Ran, did she think that the chairman position would be yours because you leaked the news? Hua Ran told him that you never cared about me since young, you always gave everything to Gu Wan. The next day, Gu Wan took Sarung on a date and they both had fun in the amusement park. Gu Wan told Sarung that he will be leaving on a business trip for a few days. Later, when the chairman arrives at the hotel, he sees Gu Wan's mom there and he is shocked to see her. The chairman asked her how she was doing, and Gu Wan's mom replies that how can she be okay after staying away from her son for so many years. The chairman apologizes to her and said that he had no power back then, but Gu Wan's mom replies and said to let bygones be bygones because even if he had power, he would still choose the company over her. She told him that she knows that he is the one who sent Gu Wan abroad under the pretense of a business trip and that he also intends to send Sarung away, which was exactly what happened to her. She continued by saying that he gave up her so easily and she only left because the chairman's father threatened to harm Gu Wan if she did not leave. She warns him to not threaten her again and leaves. Gu Wan goes back to work and he heard his mom's voice and is shocked to see her. His mom apologizes to him and he hugs her and they share an emotional moment. Meanwhile, Sarung is sent to another hotel and when Gu Wan learns about this, he intends to bring Sarung back. When she saw Gu Wan, she asks about his trip and told her that he felt incomplete without her. They spend time and Gu Wan helps her out with the hotel's chores. Gu Wan also tells Sarung that he met his mom and they should go back together. However, Sarung tells him that she likes it here. The next morning, Sarung takes Gu Wan to all the places she used to visit alone and they enjoyed their time together. When Gu Wan reaches the hotel, he meets Hua-ran and she starts arguing with him. Gu-won tells her they are family and he does not want to fight with her. Later, Hua-ran was drinking at home and her husband yells at her. He was cheating on her. Gu-won wants to propose to Sarung. He buys a ring and invites her to dinner where he planned an elaborate way to propose to her. However, to his surprise, Sarung told him that we should end this now. Gu-won is shocked and asked her what she meant by that. Sarung shares that she does not want to work at King Hotel any longer and she finally found her purpose and wants to build her own hotel instead. He feels relieved as she did not intend to break up with him. He cancels his plan to propose as he wants to support her to chase her dreams first. The next day, Sarung invites the chairman to dinner and explains everything to him. He is sad to see her leave, but he is supportive of her plans and apologizes to her for sending her away. Sarung bids goodbye to everyone and when she arrives at the bus stop, Gu-won steps out of the limousine to give her a bouquet and a pair of shoes. Meanwhile, Da-yu learns that her husband lost his job. She is now the head of the household and her husband has to do all the house chores and be nicer to her. Sarung finally finds a suitable location for her hotel and happily informs Gu-won. Later, the chairman and his family have dinner and Ji-hoo mentions that he is going to the US. Gu-won knows that Ji-hoo is doing this for Hua-ran. He talks to his sister and told her to not stay alone anymore and she gets emotional. The next day, Hua-ran goes to the airport to send Ji-hoo off but eventually stops him from leaving and Ji-hoo is happy. Gu-won visits Sarung and praises her hotel and they spend a romantic night together. Peng-hwa and Rowan also started dating and Gu-won continues to visit Sarung every day, but she told him that he will be tired and asks him not to come. He then proposes to Sarung and she agrees. On the wedding day, all her friends arrived together. Gu-won's mom also saw Ji-hoo and Hwa-ran and they acknowledge one another. Gu-won dad and mom sits together at the wedding and Gu-won makes his entrance followed by Sarung and it was a beautiful marriage. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed our summary.